Hello everybody, this is Jeffrey GT7 and welcome to the episode. In this episode, I'm going to be using a new swap, using the Porsche Clubsport Group 4 race car at Le Mans. So in this episode, I'll give you guys a quick step-by-step process on this car with the swap, delivery, and of course the build itself. So I think this build is going to be very fun to use, very quick and very effective at Le Mans and maybe some other races as well. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into the episode. So step one is of course going to be the car. You can actually find this car at Branch Central. 350,000 credits is the price of the car, and sometimes if you're lucky enough you can actually win this car for free in the mini games. It just depends if you have that car in the game, in the mini game, and if the spotlight lands on it. Now after you grab the car, let's now move over to GT Idle for the swap. Now here's the swap engine right here. So if you are in fact collector level 50 like I am on the screen, which is the hot pink number on the top of the screen, it's going to cost you roughly about 270,000 credits just to buy this swap. Now there actually is an alternative way to earn this particular engine swap, but as you can see for the engine itself, everything is turned blue, so it actually is a pretty nice buffer of an engine for this car. Mainly what it does is it converts it from a fuel efficient Group 4 race car engine to a highly powered sports car engine. So if you guys want to go to your home garage like we're about to do so right here, just go to the tuning parts, which is this little icon right here, and through here you can see this is where all your engines are being kept in the game. Now depending on what level you're at and how much more you play the game, or if you ever done the infinite engine glitch back last year or 2 years ago, you could have the engine in hand or you might not. It just depends if you have the engine. Now one way you can tell if you have the engine or not in your garage, I'm going to go ahead and switch to a different car and show you guys what to look out for. So for example, let's go ahead and let's get inside this Toyota truck. As you see, as I'm about to go back into the tune shop, I do in fact have an engine that will work for this truck, which is of course the Lexus LFA. So make sure you do look at the taskbar. You can see for this particular engine swap it is lit up, and of course there's the word compatible on the top right corner. Now once you see that particular engine swap in the Porsche with that Porsche 911 engine swap, just go ahead, click on it, and as you'll see on the screen there'll be a big old paragraph letting you know if you do this, it's going to basically reset all your parts and you have to rebuy all your parts. But for that point, we're going to avoid that. All you'll be doing is just hit the install button. It'll ask you once if you want to really go ahead and do this or not. If say yes, you'll then be able to get yourself a free swap without having to use any credits, and you can basically use this as a voucher just in case if you haven't yet reached level 50 in the game, which is actually pretty crucial and it helps out a lot, especially for the new players in the game. So after you get your swap, I'm actually going to show you guys delivery. Now if you want to follow me in the game, my profile is of course Jeffrey GT7YT, as you see so on the top left of the screen. Now for my particular livery that I have for the Porsche is actually going to be this year's 2025 F1 Ferrari racing team livery, which I thought looked pretty good on the car to be honest. But if you guys are curious on how to search the livery, I of course have it in my newsfeed, but if you don't follow me in the game, there's the hashtags right there on top of the screen. And to be honest, the livery doesn't really matter at all if you use a livery or not, or if you use different tire rims for this particular race, because you're going to be a little bit shy of reaching that perfect 700 point PP value. So, but if you just want to go ahead and copycat, it's up to you. If you don't go with that process, you can. But after you get your livery in your car, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the build. So here is a quick look at the build itself. Now I'm going to be using racing hards for this race, figuring just be on the safe side just in case if the tires do manage to have some tire degradation, also to allow us to actually have some downforce on the car as well. But as you can see, if you want to go ahead and pause the episode and just manually copy the numbers for the suspension and for the custom LSD differential, you can. Now one crucial thing to remember is for this race in Le Mans, make sure you have intermediate tires, which are these right here. That way if you ever do have a rain shower to come up, you can actually use these tires or wets to essentially have grip on the track whenever you have wet conditions. Here's the rest of the parts in the second part of the sheet. If you want to go ahead and pause the episode and make sure you have them on hand on your car equipped, and then you should be good to go. So with all the parts together in the car, let's go ahead and go to the race. Now, one thing to point out real quick, as you can see, I actually do have the engine fuel map set to number 3. I'm planning on being on this map for the whole entire race, and if you're curious on how much fuel it's going to burn just by doing this, your average pit window should be about 2 laps. And the main thing you're going to be pitting for is going to be for fuel. The tires do last a bit longer than the fuel consumption, but unfortunately for the fuel itself, it's going to be, every 2 laps. But despite that, this car is going to be very quick. Sounds really, really good in the car, but most importantly, has really good acceleration, and of course the top speed is going to be your best friend, especially that long straight. You're going to gain a lot of time on the AI and going to basically just easily bypass them in this long straightaway. So it just depends on where you catch the traffic and where you make your passes to really gain time on the race leader, or just basically run away from the rest of the pack. But yeah, the car, with it being a Group 4, still handles very good, very smooth around the corners, so you shouldn't have to worry about the car losing the rear end whatsoever. It just has a real nice flow to it around the corners, and it was able to basically stay planted on the track as well. So as we get through the first couple of corners, we'll find ourselves within the top 10 as we keep going through our progression through this race. It'll take us a little bit till the second lap, which is going to be lap 2, until we actually do see the race leader, and from that point on, we're going to easily catch up with the Viper, take the lead, and basically from that point on check out. So at the end of lap 2, we have actually are going to go ahead and make our first pit stop. Now you can see we got ourselves some rain heading our direction, and usually at this point it's going to be sometimes hard to pinpoint if you need inters or wets, but in this point we're going to take a risk and don't worry about tires. We're just going to refill the car, and just look at the radar. It's just mainly a light mist in the rain, which is nothing to really stress or worry about. Since we got ourselves a big lead, we are still going to lose the lead to the Viper, but we're not going to be too much worried about it since we got ourselves a big lead to begin with. We do have a couple of takers that's going to follow behind us for their designated pit stop, but like I mentioned before, the car does in fact drink a good bit of fuel in the race, so just be on the lookout for your fuel. Make sure you have enough. Now you can see the wipers are deployed, but like I mentioned before, it is a light sprinkle rain outside the track, so like I said, nothing really too much to worry about. As we get done with our first pit stop, we're going to be within the top 10 just barely. As we come out pit road, we're going to almost make contact with the BMW. There it is right there, very close, as we exit the pit road. But thankfully for us, we're going to go ahead, get ourselves a good first turn, get a good run on the Subaru, and we're also going to go ahead and pass the Honda NSX as well, and that's going to be our continuing our charge toward the front to the Viper and the rest of the gang that have not yet pitted. But the car still very good despite having a little bit of tire wear showing in the car. Now fast forward to later in the race, and actually this when it gets very interesting. So here we are on lap number 4, and you can see we got ourselves a pretty big powerful rain sail right now on the track. Now as we approach these next couple corners, you'll see the little red number tracker is going to show up a lot sooner than we're accustomed to, and this is basically we have to be very, very slow and very safely going through the corners, because you can see even turning the car is losing a lot of grip and a lot of control. But for us, we have to be careful. We do manage to make it to pit road before everybody else does, and we are actually gaining a big time over the rest of the field. Now the radar did show it was going to clear off, so we actually did make a gamble, and we actually changed a new set of slick tires. We are going to lose a good bit of time on the first lap with these new tires, but as we get ready for the next lap, and plus with the sun shining on the track, we are going to basically able to make up that lost time we did just by having these slick tires back on the track. You can see there's yet another wave of rain, but thankfully that wave right there, it wasn't really heavy enough to where the track still stay in a very wet climate condition. But for lap 6, we're going to go ahead for our last pit stop, and we actually did a horrible job on entry on pit road. You can see we just smashed the right rear of the car into the barrier. Now luckily for us, we actually were able to make it in safely. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit anxious when it happened. Wasn't too sure if that was going to put us right on the track, but thankfully for us, we were able to fill the car up at least 1.5 on fuel. We actually went to map 1 and we basically let it rip and just had fun on that last lap. And the car, it was really good considering having to worry about the fuel. But beside that, very fun to drive, especially with a swap. So if you guys do in fact have that swap with that car, I really recommend giving it a shot. Sure, we didn't win by a huge, gigantic margin like we're accustomed to at Le Mans, but hey, it was still a lot of fun, and it also gets the job done as well. Got ourselves that clearance bonus, and that's going to be it for this episode. So here's the next preview of the next episode, and again, we're going to be at Le Mans still using the Radical. And the Radical has a new swap added to the game from the last update, and it's going to be the Suzuki VGT Group 3 race car. And trust me, this engine car combination is extremely lovely and amazing. I mean, it just blew me off the water of how good the car felt even with this powerful engine. So I cannot wait to show you guys what this car is capable of doing around this track at Le Mans, and I could already tell it was a lot better than the Porsche. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, why not go ahead and leave a like. If you enjoy what you saw today in this episode and like to support the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well, which would be highly appreciated. I do appreciate all you guys' comments and support for the channel. If you have a suggested build you'd like to see in the channel, why not go ahead and leave it in the comments as well. If you want to check out the last episode, there it is right there as well. And with that all being said, hopefully you guys have a great rest of the day or night where it might be, and I'll